Hello and welcome. This is Jeff Neville for Selective Imagery. This is a story called A Tale of Two Birds. What kind of birds? Well, we'll find out shortly. Have you ever heard this sound while walking around in your favorite nature area? Now, some of you may know what that is right away. Others may have just heard this sound and never been able to associate it with the bird. So, the bird in question happens to be a belted kingfisher. So I'm going to show you a few pictures of the belted kingfisher. Predominantly, unfortunately, I have mostly pictures of the male, which are blue with a white belly, a blue-gray chest band, and black wingtips. Their crest moves up and down as they feel like it. The female is actually prettier than the male, which is a little unusual in the bird species. It's the same as the male, but it has rusty flanks and a rusty chest band below the blue-gray band. So it is a prettier bird. So let's look at a few pictures. Here is a picture of the male. If you notice the white spot between each eye at the base of the bill, they say that may enhance the ability of the bird to fixate their eyes on prey or aid the adults and the young when they do bill-to-bill transfer of food. So that's the theories anyway. Now the next picture is of the female, and the male was taken, in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The female was from last year, and you can see the russet color on the chest, and it is a much prettier bird. In this upcoming video clip, you'll see a male sitting on a sign. It'll dive down to the water, typically, grab a fish, bring it back up, beat the heck out of it on the sign, break all the bones to make it easier to swallow. They cannot digest the bones. They actually regurgitate bone pellets after the meal. And typically they eat fish that are less than 5 inches in length. They also eat frogs, crayfish, tadpoles, insects, and occasionally a small mammal. Here's another short video clip of the male belted kingfisher. And it's important to note that, it's not often that you're lucky enough to catch them sitting anywhere long enough to get a picture of them, never mind shooting a video. But you do get lucky in this park where there are a few areas that seem to attract their attention, where they will stop and sit on a railing or sit perched up here in the middle of the marsh, and very, very, very fortunate for us photographers and videographers. So I'll let you enjoy the rest of this video clip, and then we will move on to the next subject. The next bird we're going to talk about is also one that you hear before you see it. Any idea what that might be? Well, we're going to show you a picture of it. This is a clapper rail. It's fairly common, but has seriously declined in parts of the east due to loss of habitat. It's strictly a bird that lives in salt marshes, sometimes in adjacent brackish marshes. It's in Florida. They find it in the shallows of the mangrove swamps. It usually hides in dense cover, and much like a kingfisher, you will usually hear one long before you see it. They will poke out from the reeds in a marsh occasionally where you can see them, walking around the muddy marsh or swimming across from one muddy bank to another. They eat crustaceans, insects, and fish. Now we're going to enjoy some video clips of them hunting for crabs. I really think you're going to like these a lot. Here we go. Clapper is just outside the reeds. It's low tide. It does, creep out once in a while where you can see it. Now there's probably literally, 50, 100 clapper rails in this area. You can hear them all making their noises that they like to make, but it's really hard to spot them. I mean, they come out. You could be there an hour and not see one. You can be there at another time and you can see, 2 or 3. But it's a hit or miss, definitely. So it likes to just walk along that boundary between, where the reeds end, and then you have the mud and the oyster beds. And here it gets a good-sized crab, and it just pokes through the burrows. I mean, it investigates the burrows that the crabs make, and it pokes its beak in all of them, and it pokes in around the oysters themselves, and it finds itself some food. And there's another clip that'll demonstrate the behavior a little bit better coming up after this, but basically what it does is it rips off the legs first. So once it rips off the legs, the crab can't try to walk away. And the large claw will be the last thing that it removes before it swallows the body. So eventually you just have the body and the large claw, and it'll shake like it is now. It'll shake and shake and shake until that large claw falls off. And then it'll just swallow the rest of the crab. And you can see it here shaking, and sometimes it doesn't remove every leg, but it removes enough of them where it basically immobilizes the crab and it can't, do much to get away. And then it just shakes like crazy until eventually that leg breaks off, and then it swallows it. I'm not in a position where I can move when it goes sideways to continue to get the view of the crab, but there you go. The claw fell off. It swallows the main body of the crab. Now, what I've noticed that it does, what it's doing right now, is it will eat the legs, or any small pieces of meat that fell off the crab, but the large arm, it does not eat that. So I always wondered why sometimes you're walking around and you're looking in marsh areas and all you see is a large claw sitting there in the mud, and you say, gee, why is it just a claw that's laying there? Well, now I kind of know why, because these guys eat everything else but the large claw. There it is. It's picking up the morsels. It's eating those small legs. Yeah, it's really interesting. First time that I really saw one, I've seen them going after fiddler crabs before, but these were pretty good sized crabs that it was eating. And that was like the longest I ever got one on film, literally, poking its beak in the openings in the mud where the crabs have burrowed, and poking around the oyster beds themselves, knowing that's where the crabs hide out. And seeing that for 10 minutes or so was really, really neat to watch. Definitely knows what it's doing. And we'll just watch it here while it pokes around. I'm sure it's going to find another one at some point. And they will, eat insects as well. But, it seems like once they got their mind made up that it's crabbing time, then they're focused on getting crabs. See it poking in the holes. It's poking exactly where it thinks that these crabs might be. I mean, it's really interesting and humbling to get the opportunity to really immerse yourself into the behavior. And there was that crab that was running across the mud, and it caught up to it quickly and got it. Now, this is the one that you're going to see a little more detail on it, basically removing the legs from this crab and immobilizing it. I mean, it's going for the small legs right now. Likes to get it in the water. I guess it figures if it's going to wrestle with it and wiggle it around, it might as well rinse it off and get the dirt off of it first, I guess. So there's the little leg sticking up, and it got it. It's going to grab it and just shake it off and break off the legs. And once it feels that the crab can't possibly be a threat, which I don't know why it would think it would be a threat to it, then it'll focus on getting that large claw ripped off. And it'll just grab the body and shake until the weight of the crab's arm just gets flopped around so much it eventually just severs itself off the body. It's not like it actually bites the arm off. It literally shakes the arm off. Here we go. Okay, it shaked it off, and if you were observant enough, you caught it swallowing the body. Here's just a few pictures that we're going to end on. Here's the clapper that's flying in from across the water from one area that was reeds into the other. and it basically breaks right at the last second and just kind of glides right into the reeds. And then here's a few final shots of the male belted kingfisher, and that little white dot, that almost looks like an eye. I almost wonder if that's a defensive thing as well, that maybe a predator would mistake that dot for the eye, and if it got attacked, the eye would not get hurt because it would attack that white spot. I don't know. That's just my own theory. I didn't find any scientific evidence to support my theory, but that's just my opinion. I hope you enjoyed the videos. Just going to let you know that things are really slow where I am right now. The weather has been horrendous. It's just been so much rain. It's been hard to even get out to shoot at all. And I'm going to be slowing down a little bit, so I'm only going to be doing most of the time one video a week that I'll try to put out Thursday morning at midnight. And but there may be weeks coming up where there either aren't any videos at all, or I do have a few older ones that I did that I never released, so I might publish those since they're done. They're not going to be quite the same quality of these, because I learned a lot since I shot those, but at least I can send you some content. But I am going to be gearing down a little bit, and some of it's just because I need to take a little bit of a break, and the other is I just can't get out and shoot with the weather being what it is, and with the work at the park getting done. It's just disruptive to the birds, and it's kind of scaring them off a bit. So if I don't have subjects, I can't do videos. It's as simple as that. So hope you guys, as my saying is, enjoy life, capture some of it, get out there and take pictures of whatever you like to take pictures of, whether it be sports or birds or trains or people in the park or cityscapes, landscapes, whatever. Just get out there and have a good time, and share with other people. People like to see what other people do. Take care and have a good one. Till next time.